All right, everybody. Let's go.
Tangled in deceit, no way to retreat. Caught in a lie, and I know why. You think you'll disappear, but have no fear. You're here to stay, and no one believes you today. Fake gold, trying to be a scapegoat. Just another snake note, always honest, usually right, not forthright. No one believes you today. Go along your way. Go along your way. Tangled in deceit, no way to retreat. Caught in a lie, and I know why. You think you'll disappear, but have no fear. You're here to stay, and no one believes you today. Fake goat, trying to be a scapegoat. Just another snake note. Always honest, usually right, not forthright. No one believes you today. Go along your way.
Tangled in deceit, no way to retreat. Caught in a lie, and I know why. You think you'll disappear, but have no fear. You're here to stay, and no one believes you today. Fake gold, trying to be a scapegoat, just another scapegoat, always on me. Usually right, not forthright. Fake goat, trying to be a scapegoat, just another snake note, always honest. Usually right, not forthright. No one believes you today. Oh, go along your way. Go on along your way. Go along your way. Fake goat, trying to be a scapegoat, just another snake note, always honest. Usually right, not forthright. Fake goat, trying to be a scapegoat, just another snake note, always honest. Usually right, not forthright. No one believes you today. Go along your way. Go along your way. Go along your way.
All right. Welcome to Not My Rabbit Hole today. This is some music that I created this morning on suno.com, put some lines in there. And I'm thinking about maybe doing a contest of which one you like. Today I've played 3 different tunes from the beginning of the show, and I'm going to sporadically repeat them again and see what you guys like in the chat. And then I think I'm going to take a poll on your favorite song that I created today, and which one that you want to see me make a video of. In that video, I will be putting in clips of grifters on the internet because it's basically what these songs are about. Okay, so hi, Aiken. Glad to see you here. And also, Roll Skite Jensen. Welcome to my chat. That's the first time I've seen you here. All right, so there's a woman out there right now. Her name is Juliette Bryant. And she's been around for a while. Now, I just became aware of her recently because I've been doing these ChatGPT shows, which I find fun, and it's a great way to, if you're building your show or whatever, just have it do a deep search, give you some information. I've used it that way. I've used ChatGPT in researching information, basically, and it has a lot of different applications. One, I even had it ask me to make lyrics or give me a template of lyrics for information that I contextualized on Max Spears, and came up with a few tunes, which if we have time, I might play them for you because I played them last night. So it's pretty fun. I'm into it, and it allows me to create my own music for my channel, and I don't have to worry about the rights for it, and I think it's kind of fun. So I became aware of Juliette Bryant. I guess like it hasn't really been a week. And one of the things that I did do on ChatGPT was I did a deep ChatGPT search of Jeffrey Epstein. And one of the things that I went into was what was the influence of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal on the 2016 election. I ended up doing a 4-hour broadcast, which is very unusual for me, but I guess I got carried away in my research. But I did break those videos up into 3 different parts. And the one that is specifically about a little bit of what I want to focus on today was the one about Trump, Katie Johnson, and Jeffrey Epstein. I had created a song out of Sumo, which I'll play here in a bit, about Katie Johnston. And when I posted it, a person made a comment and they said Juliette Bryant. And I looked her up a little bit, and then all of a sudden a video popped up for me on a channel that I watch sometimes. I'm going to pull it up here in just a second. The guy's name is Richard Bruce, and he is a person that covers a lot in about reptilians. And I discovered him on a TV series, Vice. I might have seen it on Netflix. I don't know, but I think I know I watched it. It was about targeted individuals, and this person who has this channel. His name is Richard Bruce. He lives in Los Angeles. He oftentimes films helicopters up in the sky, and says that those helicopters are flying over him because of that he's making reptilian videos, and our government doesn't want people to see these reptilian videos. And he also, by the way, talks a lot about James Rink and the Super Soldier program, and Miles Johnston and Carrie Cassidy, the whole lot. And it really kind of brought up an interesting comment, because he asked Miles Johnston if he wanted to interview him, and Miles Johnston's reply was, well, his audience wasn't Christian based, and so the philosophy, or from the point of view that he comes from, he didn't feel that he was a match for his audience, which I thought was kind of an interesting comment. And of course, I'd like to deliberate that more on in a different topic, how the reptile, or the reptile conspiracy, the reptile folklore, has to do with snakes, or the I guess like snakes aren't really a reptile. I think they're amphibian, but it still somehow goes into that. Somehow it represents something that is satanic, something that is dark, and then also something that is alien and superhuman. And the reptile folklore has been very much a part of the trafficking of people, children, the consuming of children, things of this nature, has a reptilian conspiracy connected to it, going all the way to Phil Schneider. And being a person who was, on Revolution Radio and on American Freedom Radio, and in direct contact with a lot of the hosts that were perpetuating this kind of material or content on their channels, very much ended up hybriding the reptilian aspect to to child trafficking. One person that comes to mind is, my ex, which is Stephen D. Kelly, who has the children underneath the Getty Museum, and as republications of his book, which is called Cities Under the Plains, which was written before he even started saying that there were children under the Getty. It was mostly a place where the elite were going to escape to during difficult times, and that's where all the great art is. See, I remember the beginning. I know where he started and where he went to. And where he went to was that, now he has, editions of his book where he's like a Jedi and there's some sort of reptilian overlord or web over the Getty Museum. So, Carrie Cassidy and him argued about it. Carrie Cassidy, made his story about alien reptiles being underneath the Getty Museum. I propose you map the whole concept of super soldiers to soup soldiers, implying fingers of buttered toast for dipping, then introduce aliens and reptiles, soup soldier probing for breakfast. That sounds great. I think maybe I might, Aiken, you've inspired me to maybe even call that story, that exploration, the concept in that way. It's great, especially the eating part. Didn't the whole reptile bullshit come out of David Icke publicizing that African dude looking for the name, something that sounds like Creomutive or something? Yeah, I mean, one of the first people, I think a reptile folklore may have, been perhaps before David Icke in some ways in terms of folklore, but David Icke is I would say the main proponent or the most public known person of talking about how the elite or the British were reptiles and things like this. I bet I'm going to get one of those reptile stickers on this video. I know I am. But mark my words, after I get done with this live stream, there's going to be a little notation saying we're blah blah Blake. They're gonna have to make an explanation of reptilian people, because I guess there's a concern that a large majority are swinging towards this being real. All right, so I want to start with sharing some of this video and just letting you get a glimpse of who Juliette Bryant is and what is she saying in terms of Jeffrey Epstein.
Hi, Owen. Thank you so much for having me on your show, and thank you to everyone for listening and for caring. It's been very frightening, everything that's been going on. I was kidnapped by Jeffrey Epstein 22 years ago. I met him when he was in Africa with Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker. They staged a modeling casting, and I was taken to New York to model, but then quickly kidnapped to the island.
Now, the first thing that gets me is that automatically in her story is let's go back. Jeffrey Epstein, Chris Tucker, and Kevin Spacey. And this is also very much a part of the folklore of the Super Soldier program. Same thing. Kevin Spacey's in there. Maybe not Jeffrey Epstein, but it has that feel to me. Like if you want to create a story and blend it all together, let's talk about all the people that have already been associated with Jeffrey Epstein and make them in a story with you in it where you're witnessing them all together. Okay? I mean, I find this to be not plausible for me. Like, really? Let's go back.
Spacey and Chris Tucker.
Okay, here we go. And watch her demeanor. She's quite the actor. She does a lot of wide-eyed looks about her, a lot of vulnerable takes, expressions.
Thank you so much for having me on your show, and thank you to everyone for listening and for caring. It's been very frightening, everything that's been going on. I was kidnapped by Jeffrey Epstein 22 years ago. I met him when he was in Africa with Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker. They staged a modeling casting.
They were in Africa. All together in Africa. Who knew?
And I was taken to New York to model, but then quickly kidnapped to the island. It's been very, very frightening.
Is this her art in the background? Is she selling a little bit of art now? Like she's got it displayed behind her? And because there is a drawing that's going to come up, how she draws Jeffrey Epstein as she witnessed him when he shapeshift. It should be coming up here.
You know, obviously I've been in trauma through most of my life after what happened. As we all know, they're covering a lot up. And, you know, I've just been terribly upset, obviously, as everyone has, because they promised us
It's quite the looker, really, right? Victim Epstein shared hotel suite with Bill Clinton and worried about being poisoned. Okay.
list. You know, Trump gained presidency promising the list. And where is the list? Now they say there is no list. How
Epstein survivor Juliette Rose Bryant. She's got the little butterfly here because we all know about Monarch Butterfly and kind of ultra mind control, right? They keep blocking my accounts. I'm speaking out for safety for us all. And I guess she's in Cape Town. Joined April 8th, 2008.
do they lie to people like this? It's not right. And it doesn't just affect the victims, it affects the public.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be sarcastic today, and you're going to hear it in my intonation.
This has affected all of us.
I saw Jeffrey Epstein shapeshift into something else in front of my eyes.
As I've spoken about recently, I saw him shapeshift into something else in front of my eyes. You know, it looked like a sort of reptilian creature, like when I was in the bedroom when he took me there. And what I'm starting to realize is it was probably like an alien creature. And it's hard talking about this because a lot of people think it's crazy. And I would also think it was crazy. But unfortunately, I saw it. And also in New Mexico.
I mean, have any other, I haven't heard of any other victims coming up and saying that now Jeffrey Epstein shapeshift. I mean, let's just think about this. Well, here, let me just, I'll shut up. Let's continue.
Mexico, I saw a UFO there, and then I woke up in a laboratory with people working on me, you know, 6 people in hazmat suits, or I don't even know if there were people.
Did you get drugged?
And I don't actually know. You know, they didn't allow any alcohol or drugs there, but they could have drugged me.
Okay. I don't want this music on this, but I'm gonna let it play until it goes to something else. So, okay, here we go. Let's go back.
Epstein shapeshifted in front of me. It's very hard to understand if you haven't seen it, but I saw it. I want to be lie detected on this.
Oh, let me do fair use on this, okay? Let me do fair use. This is fair use. We're just educating the public here. And by the way, as I continue, I think let's do a deep search. Let's bring out the chat GPT. Let's bring out, I sound like an old person. Let's bring out the chat GPT. Let's bring out the chat. Okay, so let's do a deep dive. Let's do a deep dive into, deep research. Can you research and give information on Juliette? Let me see, that's 1L. Bryant, who claims Jeffrey Epstein kidnapped her, because that's what she's claiming in other videos, and we'll get that. I don't want to freak out ChatGPT by asking the alien question too soon. Okay, and it's going to ask me a question. All right, here we go. Could you please clarify what specific information you're looking for regarding Juliette Bryant and her claims about Jeffrey Epstein? For example, are you interested in media coverage, legal proceedings, interviews, or something else? All of the above. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't research that. Oops. Oh, here. Would you like me to look into general biography of... Yes. Okay, here we go. It's telling me her background in life. Okay. Okay, her background in early life, career, and public roles. Her legal involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Her interviews about Epstein, Kevin Spacey, and Chris Tucker, and time frame of interest. Okay, let's see if this works. I'm sorry, I can't research that. Yes. Yes. It's being finicky. Okay, it started. Wow. I guess I was overloading my input. Okay, so while that's going, we'll see what comes up here. May not be all that interesting, right? Okay, so while that's going, we will continue to watch the video.
But I've never seen anyone else turn into anything like that. And it happened. It was like a weird hologram, and it had like big black eyes. If you look back through ancient history, you'll notice there are a lot of dragons. They only used to draw and depict what was real.
Okay, I'm just...
Also, there's this article joking about Bush, Clinton, and the Queen all being reptiles.
Okay, I'm like, I don't want the music.
You're apparently not sweat.
So she's going on about Jeffrey. She talks about like Prince Andrew not saying that he doesn't sweat and that reptiles don't sweat. I'm curious. I'm curious. I want to look and see if reptiles sweat. Just out of curiosity. Do reptiles sweat? I don't know. No, reptiles do not sweat. She's right. Unlike mammals, reptiles lack sweat glands and rely on other methods to regulate their body temperature. They are ectothermic, meaning they rely on external resources of heat to warm up and behavioral adaptations to cool down. Okay. All right, so let's keep going.
What about Bieber, Adele, and Lady Gaga apparently all shapeshifting?
So here, she shows a series of, or whoever's making this video shows a series of claims. This is what gets me, is the Justin Bieber thing. Apparently Justin Bieber shapeshifted and people witness it. Like, it says, like, hundreds report Justin Bieber shapeshifted into a giant lizard in public, according to Cosmopolitan Entertainment.com entertainment. Okay. Damn, I just don't want somebody else's music. Okay, so if you can look that. Okay, so here's like here. Now, I don't know what this show is. I can't think that this would be a legitimate broadcast. But here's a clip of it's called The People's Voice. Okay, so The People's Voice, get this. The People's Voice, if I can remember right, used to be it was a channel that David Icke started. Okay, so now this is about Justin Bieber shape-shifting in public.
Bieber fans say they witnessed the singer shapeshift into a reptilian while greeting them at Perth Airport. One witness said that all hell broke loose in the airport after Justin Bieber shapeshifted in front of his fans. She claims there were girls hiding in the toilets crying and guys were running for the exits, jumping in taxis to get the hell out of there. Perth Now briefly published an article about the incident featuring multiple interviews with witnesses.
I mean, this just seems like a joke to me.
However, within an hour of publication, the article was mysteriously taken offline and scrubbed from the internet, but not before alert readers captured screenshots of the article and proof that it appeared on Google. The Perth Now article quoted witnesses who say they saw Bieber with eyes with a black stripe down the middle and big scaly claws that were lashing out angrily. Despite the removal of the article from the internet, the reptilian sightings continued the next morning. A local skater told reporters that Bieber was hanging around with this big guy, his bodyguard, I guess, and we were just staring because he kept turning into a huge reptile. His bodyguard was pointing at us, shouting that he'd kick our teeth in if we didn't put our phones away. There were multiple accounts of seeing Bieber with greenish-brown claws, while others claimed to have seen the singer in full female reptilian form. One fan described the reptilian version of Bieber as really big, like way over 6 foot, slitty little reptilian eyes, curves, and covered in scales. Experts claim that Bieber belongs to the Babylonian Brotherhood, a group of shape-shifting reptilian humanoids determined to control the world and usher in the New World Order.
Okay, so, and then, he shows, here's, now Adele shapeshifts into a reptilian in front of fans after Auckland show. And I don't know this. Adele caught shapeshifting into an 8-foot reptilian lizard in New Zealand. And, there's that picture there. So, what went on behind the scenes in Adele's first and possibly last hour? And so we're gonna see. I don't know if this is still music or not. Let me see.
At least 8 or 9 feet tall, powerfully built reptilian with greenish-gray scales, to quote one of the witnesses. Jim Joint, reporting for the New Zealand Herald, wrote that the superfans told him Adele had flickering reptile eyes with a black stripe down the middle and scaly horns and protrusions all over her body. She looked shocked, like she wasn't prepared for the change, a witness told the Herald. Adele fan Jessie Warren also told the Herald that Adele said the shape-shifting is crippling her and she can't go on until she learns to stop the reptile inside herself from manifesting itself in public. Adele said she won't be able to perform live or tour again until she learns to control the shape-shifting. Editor's note: the screenshots from the New Zealand Herald newspaper article were sent to us by Jessie Warren, an Adele fan who says she was invited backstage.
Okay, so you can see that his compilation, like he's taken, the Juliette Bryant story and, brought it into Jeffrey Epstein in his video. And then now, he's linking reports of all these celebrities shape-shifting. But if you look at the publications that are running across the screen, they're pretty fringe. I mean, they're not they're not known publications, but they look like publications that mirror like a report. Like, for example, the People's Voice, but that's part of the David Icke network. It's all coming from one. Okay, so let's see what she says here. Let's bring this back here.
To questions asking why they deleted the art.
Go. Okay.
Asking why they deleted the art.
Okay, so this goes on.
Simpsons
Okay, here, what we got here?
experiences.
Website.
I painted Epstein as a reptile in 2019, and Maria Farmer, another victim, painted him as a reptile in 2020.
That's the drawing she made. That apparently is Jeffrey Epstein when he shapeshifts. Now, okay, so I want to show you another interview that's not chopped up like this, where I can confirm that that's what she's talking about. So we'll get back to that. Hold on. Okay, Epstein victim is painting his enablers as a murderous lizard people. This is like Crime and Justice. Maria Farmer was a young art student when Jeffrey Epstein threatened to ruin her career if she told of his abuse. Now she's picking up her paintbrush again to agitate for justice. This person is now this person. Yeah, there was an artist, and she was living in a home that was owned by Les Wexner. Whitney Webb did a really great interview with this woman, but now this Juliette Bryant is associating herself to her and bringing this other woman, Maria Farmer. She never says that Epstein shapeshift, but this woman who's in England has a story with her where she's witnessed him as shapeshifting. Okay.
Others have had similar experiences.
Okay, so we got Kathy O'Brien coming into this one. So we all know about Kathy O'Brien. I think she might have a shape-shifting aspect to this. She goes on. And then here is another clip that might be interesting.
The things that you had to unpack that happened to you. Just give me some idea of what that is.
Well, like when I was taken there the first time, I saw him literally turn into something else in front of my eyes. Like he shapeshifted in the bedroom. It was freaky. And, I can understand a lot of people would think, okay, this girl's a bit bonkers, or she was on drugs, but I wasn't on drugs and I'm not bonkers. I saw this, and I only saw it once. It was, 22 years ago. He suddenly turned into like a sort of dragon alien creature with huge black eyes. And it was and when I was taken in the bedroom with him, that this happened, and David Icke speaks about all this stuff. That's actually how I first spoke about it publicly, because I did an interview with Richard Willett from Iconic, and he's a great guy. He's almost like Sherlock Holmes. He's he does a lot of research, and he asked me the leading questions, about the book I wrote. Why is it called The Dragon, the Apple, and the Butterfly? And then I had to tell him, because I saw Epstein turn into something. It only happened once, but it's such a vivid thing in my mind, because it just, it was very frightening. His head just went really big, and then he had these big black eyes, and it was almost like an alien, devil-looking sort of thing with horns, and it just really, I got, that's another reason why I was, of course, petrified.
Sure, of course. Listen, we've got lots of people who are extremely suspicious about the way that he is supposed to have died. Nobody really knows. There are still reports that he may have escaped, he may have got out, he may still be alive. What did you feel when you heard the news that he had died? And what do you think around, all of these suspicious circumstances that have to do with his death?
Well, I just couldn't almost believe it when he died, because I thought that he sort of ran the world, and I couldn't believe that, it was just quite a shock. And also with regards to seeing the shapeshifting, I just wanted to bring up also that, Kathy O'Brien has spoken about this, because she was a MK Ultra sex slave apparently within the Bush administration. And also Jeanette Archer is another person who's spoken about shapeshifting.
Yeah.
Also, how The Simpsons predicts things. The Simpsons also, there's one where they go and they pull the mask off the president's heads and they're suddenly reptiles. There's a lot of weird stuff around all of that.
Yeah.
But sorry, what was the other question?
No, so his
Sorry,
death. I mean, did you find all of that suspicious?
Yeah, well, it was just, it was just very, very, just what was going on. It was just very weird, And also in New Mexico, I saw like a UFO in the sky there. And that's when Michael Bay was there at the same time. And then I also have a memory where I woke up in a lab, was paralyzed on a table, naked, with people like.
It's interesting how they all know each other too. And I saw Michael Bay, and I saw James Casbolt. He was there too, and so was James Rink. And let's not forget Kevin Spacey. He was there. He was there with his steely, creepy eyes. Kevin Spacey. I want to read a few things that Aiken is saying before we go on. Aiken says. We were like in reference to Justin Bieber shape-shifting in New Zealand. He well, you know what, you're saying Prince Andrew Sweats. Seen it. All right, so she's Shek's so right about Bieber. Okay, so you believe like he did shapeshift? I mean, maybe he is. I mean, again, guys, I don't know everything. All right, but I'm having a hard. I can't say that there are no incidents of people shapeshifting, but I think that a lot of people that say that they see people shapeshifting maybe never really saw anybody shapeshifting. Like to bring in shapeshifting with Jeffrey Epstein. First of all, the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing in the very beginning was hard to get anybody to pay attention to in the first place. I remember when we first started talking about it, nobody wants to look at the fact that there could be an elite group of people that are trafficking children, especially not any of our presidents and things like that. And so I was just looking at Jay Dyer. He had a video to guess who wrote a book about the Franklin cover-up. And in the beginning, he couldn't get anybody to read it. So, you have people that just kind of shut off the topic altogether, let alone like bring in something like that, say that they're also reptiles. That is just like way too much for people to even be able to deal with or grasp. When you have people like a woman who known as Jane Doe, also known as Katie Johnson, dropped her case because she feared for her life, that's what I found out on the ChatGPT when I was researching the influences of Jeffrey Epstein on the 2016 election. That's where I heard about this court case that people are starting to talk about that now. They're starting talking about it. And I wrote a song, and I'm going to go ahead and play it right now because I bet the ChatGPT is coming up, and maybe I just might shift gears here for a second. Yeah, it's ready. It's ready. So I'm going to take a break here. Thank you so much for listening to Not My Rabbit Hole. And if you would like to support the channel, I'm going to bring the ticker tape. Please like and share. That's one really great way that you can support Not My Rabbit Hole. And thank you for being here. So I appreciate that support. If you want to buy me coffee, I'm at buymecoffee.com/Terry Joyce. If you'd like to give super chat, or you'll get a super thanks. And everything, and we I guess it'll be like Stephen Cambion, praise the cash. So yeah, and so now I'm going to go ahead and play this song that I created. I put it on TikTok. It's actually doing pretty good on TikTok. I have to double check, but it's gotten like I think almost 350 views. I don't know, but it seems to be getting a lot of likes on it. So that's inspiring. And this is a song where I put in information just about Jane Doe and let me get it here. Jane Doe, which is what they call her, and then her pseudonym was Katie Johnson. I also have verification from a private investigator that you all know was actually working on this case. So this is a real legitimate case that's going on, and it may be a really big thorn in President Trump's side right now. So here is the song that I wrote and did with AI. Okay. It's not all mine. Just a little bit of the concept of it. All right, here we go.
I wish that I could know why you decided to show, why you didn't just go, why you still call her Jane Doe. She was 13, not yet 16, not even a tween. Friends said it would be funny if she met Epstein. He got a gig for the weekend, said she could bring a friend, said he needed someone who looked young, a blonde and a wig. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend, and her friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend, and her friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And they said they all met a nice man, and his name was Prince Andrew, and she thought he was harmless, so she went with her friend, and her thought he was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought he was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she met a girl named Katie Johnson, and she looked just like me, and they thought it was harmless, so they went with their friend. And I thought it was harmless, so I went with my friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And her friend's friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And her friend's friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And her friend's friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was.
And that's titled Jane Doe here, but on YouTube I titled it Epstein's Jane Doe. And so that's really, this is where we should be focusing, should be questioning, not this Julie Bryant who is talking about how Epstein shapeshift, how she was kidnapped and she was taken to an island with Chris Tucker and Kevin Spacey. All right, so I'm going to go to the ChatGPT, and then also I want to share some of the things that are being said in the chat here. I really get a kick out of Aiken. So Aiken says that Prince Andrew does sweat. He's seen it. He says that Shaq's so right about Bieber. He also says that the alien shapeshifters call the reptilian hologram suits Biebers. They can be overheard occasionally. Get your Bieber on. So everybody, let's get our Bieber on. And reptilians, the other white meat. Okay, I'll stop. This happened. Auckland will never be the same. So so Aiken's saying it happens. The reptiles also sell health cares on YouTube. You know it's them because they always tell you you need just one thing, but make you click on the cloner link. They are okay, and then here's Aiken's other one. They are 0 point energy to power their wrath ships and arrive through the stargates built by the ancients. Oh, they use 0 point energy to power their wrath ships and arrive through the stargates built by the ancients. Bush Singer S23 says Bush Singer, also hologram technology. Aiken says, I love those early MPEG coder artifacts. And then Aiken says, Terry Bieber is the only reptile alien. It's true. And he also was linked to P. Diddy, which I don't know if there's maybe there's something to that. Bring on your, you know why there's a lot of baby oil at Puff Daddy parties, because reptile skin gets dry. All right. So I am looking at the Juliette Bryant. You know what? And I am going to grab a pair of quick glasses here. I love the ChatGPT things. Now, again, ChatGPT is not perfect, but it should give us some links, and we'll definitely click onto it here. Okay, here we go. Let me see. Juliette Bryant. I hope I have the right Juliet here. We'll find out. Juliette Bryant, born July 23rd, 1982, is a South African former fashion model, businesswoman, and a survivor advocate. She first gained recognition in the early 2000s through her modeling work, and later became known for speaking publicly about her personal experiences and campaigning on behalf of other survivors of sexual exploitation. Over the years, Bryant has transitioned from the glamour of fashion world to roles in entrepreneurship and activism, leveraging her platform to raise awareness and issues of abuse and trafficking. The following biography outlines her earlier life, career highlights, and public endeavors in advocacy. Her early life background: Juliette Bryant was born on July 1982 in Johannesburg, South Africa. She spent her formative years in South Africa, where she developed an interest in the fashion and modeling industry. By her late teens, Bryant had begun pursuing a modeling career, eventually moving to Cape Town, a major hub for fashion in the country, to chase opportunities in the modeling world. Little is publicly documented about her family or education, as Bryant has kept those aspects of her early life relatively private. However, it is clear that her upbringing in South Africa set the stage for her entry into modeling, and later informed her perspective as she navigated both the opportunities and challenges that came her way. Her modeling career. Bryant launched her modeling career in the early 2000s, joining the ranks of South Africa's emerging models. She signed with Fusion Model Management in Cape Town, which began representing her during this period. As a young model, she worked to build her portfolio and gain exposure, and by 2005, she had attained several notable accomplishments in the fashion industry. Magazine cover. Bryant appeared on the cover of Mind Lifting magazine, in a Switzerland-based publication in 2005. This international cover feature helped boost her profile as a model beyond South Africa's borders. Advertising campaigns. She was featured in a number of advertising campaigns, including promotions for Calci Vita, a vitamin supplement brand, the Renault Scenic automobile, and a desert product called Streamer's Tiramisu, And these confirmed ad campaigns showed her versatility, ranging from health products to automotive and food brands. So, guys, she's an actress. Let's just get that straight. She's an actress. She is a model. She is able to speak well. She's able to act. She's able to show vulnerability. All of the above. Bryant's modeling work in the early to mid 2000s positioned her as a promising talent. Colleagues and contacts recall her as an aspiring model with professional attitude, distinctive look characterized by brown hair, blue eyes, statuesque height of about 5'9". While she did not become a household name supermodel, she gained respectable recognition in fashion circles and enjoyed the opportunities that came with international assignments and travel. By the late 2000s, Bryant's modeling career began to slow down, and she gradually stepped back from full-time modeling. Her experiences during those years, both positive and negative, would later influence her next steps. Moving away from the spotlight of modeling, Bryant turned her focus towards personal endeavors and new professional directions, like making up stories that you were kidnapped by Jeffrey Epstein. Is that the new endeavor? I mean, I'm just curious. Okay. After retiring from active modeling, Juliette Bryant transitioned into the world of business and focused on building a more private life. She returned to South Africa and became an entrepreneur, establishing her own business in her home country. By 2022, she was described as a mother and a business owner in South Africa, indicating that she started a family and was managing a business venture and of her own. This phase marked a significant shift from her earlier career in front of the camera to her role behind the scenes, likely involving leadership and management responsibilities in her enterprise. Details about Bryant's business are not widely publicized. She tends to maintain a level of privacy regarding her personal life. Well, not really. Let's see. Advocacy and public roles. In the late 2010s and early 2020s, Juliette Bryant reemerged into the public eye, this time not as a model, but as an advocate and survivor voice. After years of keeping a low profile, Bryant made the courageous decision to share her personal story of surviving a harrowing experience of sexual exploitation. She later explained that she had decided to speak up to help victims of sex trafficking, indicating that her primary motivation was to support and empower other survivors and to shed light on the crimes that often go unseen. By coming forward, Bryant hoped not only to heal herself, but also contribute broader awareness and accountability regarding sex trafficking. So what she's doing here, and I'm going to read a little bit farther, is what I see in the clips that I've shown you so far earlier in this broadcast. And if you are joining me right now, please do go forward. I'm going to show a little bit more before we get done here, just to kind of solidify everything. But she has, and not just recently, like she has done a body of work prior to this time. Now that we have the Epstein client list scandal, her name is being tossed around a lot more. And let's face it, this topic has just exploded all over the place. And it really is a thorn in Trump's side right now. His ratings are declining. If you don't just stay in your own echo chamber or just say, oh well, he's being scapegoated, there was a lawsuit during the 2016 election that was dropped days before the election in November that involved a woman who went by the pseudonym Katie Johnson, also referred to as Jane Doe, that dropped her case because she feared for her life, and she is claiming of going to Mar-a-Lago and being with Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. But at the same time, what is this media doing? What is the media that's happening on YouTube? they are pushing this other narrative of the Juliette Bryant that fits into every UFO conspiracy and every genesis of what started the 17th letter. This type of stuff started the 17th letter of the alphabet conspiracy anyways. There is nothing separate. Like, look, I know he's denying it, but I went on Lift the Veil and talked about how I went to a Hollywood party, and I jokingly called it the Hollywood Lizard Party because, like, the tavern that was there was a huge statue of a lizard, and people at the party were talking about this conspiracy. And this was back in 2015 or 16. No, it was 2015. I didn't really go on to his show until 2018 and talked about it because of the experience of some of those people at the party that I ran into that put on the Hollywood March, the March for Hollywood PEDOs, where somebody sat there and said the slogan, "Where we go when we go all." So let's not act like there isn't any connection to any conspiracies that have really created this in the media in the first place. All right, so let's continue. One of Bryant's notable public roles was her participation in high-profile documentary. In 2022, she was featured in the BBC two docuseries, House of Maxwell, which delved with the story of a British socialite. Oh, wow. In 2022, she was featured in the BBC 2 docuseries, House of Maxwell, which delved into the story of British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell and her involvement in a notorious sex trafficking network. In the series, Bryant shared her experiences and provided testimony about the abuse she endured, likening the traffic operation to a factory in its systematic cruelty. Her willingness to speak on camera about such a painful chapter of her life was widely commended. The Independent reported that Bryant shared her experiences for a new BBC documentary, House of Maxwell, in which she recounted and happened to her. What happened to her, though this documentary experience through this documentary experience, Bryant's story reached an international audience, further establishing her as a prominent survivor advocate. Following the documentary, Juliette Bryant continued to engage with media and advocacy groups. She granted in-depth interviews. For example, the Daily Beast published a feature in April 22, which was Bryant's first extensive media interview about her ordeal. And here's another thing that you need to understand about her story as well that I picked up when researching her today. She was not a minor when she met Jeffrey Epstein. She was 20 years old. All right. Granted, that is not in the United States. That's not the age that you're allowed to drink alcohol legally, or purchase cigarettes. I don't know. Can you purchase cigarettes after 18? I think you have to be 21 for that too. So, this is so you're looking. You cannot compare in terms of, like, when we talk about the minor stuff. When we talk about grooming minors per se, right? Because when you're 20, you're 20. You're not in your teens anymore. And you really are at a point of becoming a young adult, making choices. Now, if you're being kidnapped and taken away and this and that, fine. But, there was, like, for her, according to what I've heard so far, she met Jeffrey Epstein at a club and with somebody who said that he could do something for her modeling career. Now, when you look at something like Katie Johnson, she was also a model, but she was 13 years old, and there's the difference. There's a big difference with that. No matter how you look at it, one can be prosecuted for sexual assault of a minor and the other cannot. Let's just say that. In these interviews, she not only recounted her personal story, but also spoke out about larger issues such as the need for justice and the responsibility of powerful individuals connected to abusers. Bryant's articulate and passionate advocacy has made her a respected voice in the fight against human trafficking. She has expressed frustration that many accomplishments and enablers of such crimes have not been fully scrutinized, and she uses her platform to call for greater accountability. Okay, so, and these are the sources. Okay, so I'm going to ask ChatGPT a question. What are some of the criticisms of her testimony of child trafficking and claims of being a survivor? Okay, so I'm just kind of curious about this right here. Okay, here's the main criticisms of and controversies surrounding Juliette Bryant's claims of child trafficking and her survivor testimony. Extreme unverified allegations. Laboratory paralysis incident. Bryant has claimed that she woke up naked and paralyzed in a laboratory of Epstein's Zorro Ranch, complete with hazmat-suited personnel and female doctor. This dramatic claim aligns with Epstein's documented interest in transhumanism, but lacks any independent verification and remains unique among victim testimonies. Oh, great. I have something going on outside my window. I mean, it is outrageously loud, and I really can't tell what the hell's going on. I might have to shut the window. Just want to make sure the cat's not out there. Okay, yeah. Let me quiet this down for a second. Okay. Now the cat's all upset because he knows I closed the window. He's like, "What? What did you do?" Sorry, Orlando. I'm sorry. It's nap time usually right now, anyways. But they know when something's changed. Doesn't matter if they have their eyes shut. Okay, so shape-shifting allegation in 2025 interview, notably the Project Unity, Bryant described a shape-shifting experience during a sexual encounter with Epstein, stating his facial features and eyes seemed to morph in real time. Critics view this as possibly trauma-induced or sensationalized, noting no corroboration from other sources. Contradictory testimonies from key individuals. Naha Hill denial. Bryant said she was introduced to Epstein by a woman named Naha Hill in South Africa. However, Hill denies ever taking Bryant to meet Epstein, creating a contradiction about the origin of their encounter. Some argue this doesn't necessarily disprove Bryant's core claim. It could be a matter of memory protection or hiding involvement. 3, alignment with known evidence versus fringe elements. Core allegations supported. Bryant's core narrative being lured from Cape Town, abused at Epstein's properties, and trafficked alongside other young women aligns with previous documented patterns from multiple survivors. Her federal lawsuit filed in 2019, subsequent settlement via Epstein's compensation fund, and consistency with other victims add significant credibility. Okay, let's check this out. This is on Grok. This is a Grok statement here. So we're going to check this link here. So the only thing here that's connecting that is Grok, and I'm gonna look that up because honestly, Grok is not necessarily. Let's see what Grok says. Grok is not. Grok is not as good as ChatGPT in terms of accuracy. Fringe narrates prompt skepticism. It's the more sensational elements, the lab incident and shapeshifting that fueled doubt. Of course it would. Critics argue these claims stray into areas best suited for conspiracy rather than credible legal evidence. While her core story remains compelling, these conditions have drawn caution and scrutiny from journalists. Absolutely. Of course it would create scrutiny with journalists. I being one of them. Legal analysts and the public. Summary table, court trafficking narrative, lawsuit settlement interviews validated, seen as credible, consistent with Epstein's actions. Laboratory paralysis story reflects Epstein's bizarre obsessions, no independent substantiation, viewed as extreme, sensational. Shape-shifting allegations, possible trauma response, metaphors, expression, dismissed as hallucination or exaggeration. Denial by Naha Hill. Memories of Very Hill might conceal involvement, and it undermines initial connection claim. Final take, credible core. Many find Bryant's central testimony credible given its legal basis and alignment with other survivors' accounts. Contentious details. It's the sensational and unverified aspect, like the laboratory paralysis and shape-shifting, that sparks skepticism and generate debate over her overall credibility. These controversies don't necessarily invalidate her basic claims, but they do raise questions about how much of her story is grounded in verifiable facts versus personal trauma expression. Well, that's a nice way of putting it. So I want to show the links that validate her allegations. Okay, the federal lawsuit. Okay. And the link is Grok. And that's a little bit leery for me. Like I said, ChatGPT isn't always correct again. So we're going to do a quick link check on a few things. So here is, I'm hoping you're seeing this. Here's the Grok link. Juliette Bryant's claims as victim of Jeffrey Epstein. Evidence supporting her claims. Lawsuit against Epstein's estate. Bryant filed a federal lawsuit in November of 2019 against Epstein's estate in Southern District of New York, alleging repeated battery and false imprisonment from 2004 to 2002 to 2004. She claimed Epstein lured her under the pretense of advancing her modeling career, starting with meeting in Cape Town, South Africa, when she was 20. The lawsuit, represented by attorney David Bowles, was settled through the Epstein Victims Compensation Program in 2020. So I want to click the link, and the link is Wikipedia. Okay. Oh my God. The source is Wikipedia. Okay, anybody can write whatever they want on Wikipedia. Anybody. All right? So it's not fact checked, it's not you cannot use Wikipedia as a legitimate source. So let's go to the lawsuit part. Oh my God. Liquid funding, investments, legal issues. And (2008), 2011. Second criminal case. And on July 16, 2019, Epstein was arrested. He was jailed. Jane Doe. Okay, this is the one that was Jane Doe's versus Epstein. Jane Doe number 2. 2014, 2015, 2015, 2016. Maria Farmer versus Epstein and Maxwell. Maria Farmer, that was that lawsuit. Jennifer Arosa, Epstein and Maxwell, 2019. Caitlin Doe, 2019. Jane Doe, 2019. Teresa Ham, Jane Doe. Tesla Davis, Jane Doe. Virginia Islands et al. I don't see her name in here. I don't even see her name in here. So, and that could be, honestly, that could be a that's an AI hallucination. That's an AI inaccuracy. That's what because again, AI is scraping the internet, but AI is looking as Grok as being legitimate, and Grok's source being legitimate. Okay, let's look at some other links here that we might find interesting. Diddy's a blue chicken. Diddy's gonna get out and dye his hair blue. Okay, let me go back to here. So I just want to look at let's look at the links that we have here. Fashion modeling directory, Juliette Bryant. I don't know if you can see that. You can't. I'll show you. It's just saying, it's just confirming her her magazine cover work, advertisements. So that checks out. Okay. Let me see. Okay. You know what? I'm going to take just a really quick break here on this. I can get lost in that forever, but I'm gonna pull up. We're gonna pull up a few more links, but I want to play just a break with a song, and let me know. I'm wanting whoever's been here, you know, or maybe you listen to me afterwards. Tell me which song you like best. Titled "Caught in a Lie." All right, so this is your choice. Let me get to my first page here. This is Caught in a Lie. Let me see. Number 1. All right.
Tangled in deceit, no way to retreat. Caught in a lie, and I know why. You think you'll disappear, but have no fear. You're here to stay, and no one believes you today. scapegoat, just another snake note. Always honest, usually right, not forthright. No one believes you today. Go along your way.
All right, so that's Caught in a Lie number 1. Okay, so keep that one in mind. And then here, I'm going to undo the share on that and go back and click around on a few more links here. All right, and oh wait, this is not what I want. I don't want that one. Darn it. Let me close that one out. Yeah, okay. That was proof that she was a model. Let me see. What would I want, though? All right, so fashion model, the Daily Beast. Let's look at the Daily Beast. How about that? Okay, all right. This is exciting. All right, let me just take this one off here. All right, let's look at this. The Daily Beast. No, I don't want you to allow this. All right. Let me see. Here it is. A victim Epstein shared hotel suite with Bill Clinton and worried about being poisoned. Strange bedfellows. All right. Juliette Bryant was approached in this is fair use, guys. So we're just, educating the public. Juliette Bryant was approached in a Cape Town bar and asked if she'd like to meet the former president and Jeffrey Epstein. It was beginning of her personal nightmare. Juliette Bryant was a Cape Town cocktail lounge with a friend when associate of Jeffrey Epstein approached her. The guy is bothering me, the woman, an actress named Naja Hill, told them that night in September 22. And this is the whole thing about other former, Hill, who had emphasized Epstein's celebrity contacts, shared that the financier was currently at a chic restaurant nearby with none other than former President Bill Clinton and actors Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker. She asked Bryant if she'd like to meet them. Bryant and Hill then hopped in a car, giddy at the opportunity to make their acquaintance. I was a silly young 20-year-old and thought it sounded like such an amazing opportunity. So this is the article. She actually talks about a lot of this on Sean Atwood's show, which it might just simplify if we listen to some of her testimony there, because I sort of found that area. But so she did get a real big article in the Daily Beast. I started being called to his bedroom. He never mentioned modeling again. In Paris, Bryant stayed at Epstein's apartment with Maxwell and Kellyan, who allegedly forced her to do a nude photo shoot for Epstein. A naked photo of Bryant would later be displayed in the financier's bedroom there, one of many nude photos of girls that hung throughout his properties like trophies. I remember walking down the corridor, and there were girls who couldn't even speak English, Bryant recalled. So many other girls I saw there I've heard nothing of since, she said. Where are they? Ghislaine was there, and she was always off with Sarah Kellyan. She added of her stay in France. I used to think they were lesbians. They were so close. Bryant and Maxwell was frequently at Epstein's homes and arranging massages for him, but the socialite then ignored her. She's very, very frightening woman, Bryant said. You felt scared to even say anything to her. It's quite the article. It's very long. So this legitimizes her to a certain aspect, right? I mean, here she is, Daily Beast. They obviously, her testimony is published. She is in a lawsuit. She did win some money, and she's also saying that Jeffrey Epstein, is shape-shifting in front of her. And my feeling is that bringing in that information is not doing the anything justice. And it's interesting. I don't buy that. I'm not buying it. Something's off. I'm not saying she's not a victim. Obviously, she is a victim of some sort. I shouldn't say some sort. That's kind of rude. I didn't mean it to come out like that. I mean, obviously, she was caught up with him. And, groomed. Although let's also keep in mind that she was not a minor like the other lawsuit that involves Trump. I think we need to point that out as well. I mean, sometimes I wonder, let's just think about, I'm going to let my imagination go there. I don't understand why it's becoming like this shape-shifting lizard thing. Like, what if who she is, what if she's kind of like a plant? Like, what if she's there to make something that's really legitimate not seem legitimate so people won't believe it? So this is just like a counterintuitive distraction from another case, which is about a woman that went by the pseudonym Katie Johnson. That's what I'm wondering. Nick Bryant podcast. The Independent. Let's take a look at the Independent. And then I'm going to show a video. And before we look at the Independent, I'm going to play song 2 to choose from. Okay, this is the other song. This is Caught in a Lie 2.
Tangled in deceit, no way to retreat, caught in a lie, and I know why. You think you'll disappear, but have no fear, you're here to stay, and no one believes you today. Fake gold, trying to be a scapegoat, just another snake note, always honest, usually right, not forthright. No one believes you today.
Okay, so that is Continental Line number 2. It's a longer song. That one is similar to the other one, and then the third one is going to be something that's going to be different. Okay, so it's got a different kind of genre, and I'm going to throw that one. And these are the first 3. There's quite a few that I did do today with different versions of it. So, okay, let us look at the Independent. Let me see. It's right here. This is another article. Epstein victim who was R''d by late pedophile says she only trusted him because she met him with Bill Clinton. Now again, let's just look at the concentration here. It's all about Bill Clinton. It's all about the left in this narrative as well. None of this is swinging towards any Republicans or has anything to do with Donald Trump, which now there is a switch over to that. And I'm going to show something about that here in just a second. A South African businesswoman who was repeatedly R''d by Jeffrey Epstein says former President Bill Clinton gave him the late pedophile credibility. Juliette Bryant told the Daily Beast. So they're quoting the Daily Beast. Okay. She met Epstein in Cape Town in 2002, aged 20, after being lured into his orbit by a woman who promised to help with her modeling career. She was invited to dinner with Epstein, Mr. Clinton, and actors Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker, the news site reported. That's what gave Epstein credibility, Mrs. Bryant said, the fact that he was with the Clintons. And here it is about going to the restaurant. So it like articles are definitely geared toward a Clinton, deep state, red pill narrative that permeated during the Trump campaign and beyond. Okay, so I'm pointing that out. Now, I want to bring up something that I watched last night before I went to bed on a channel called the Midas Touch. And he had, I guess, like this channel. It's got one guy. I don't know if you've ever watched that channel before, but it's got varying. It's kind of he's got other reporters besides the main guy, and they're covering right now that case that came out during the first Trump election with the woman that was the pseudonym Katie Johnson. All right. So so it's titled "Old Allegations Resurface as Trump Scrambles on Pledge," and the pledge to give the Trump files. All right, so here's fair use. We're just going to show a snippet of this.
Jane Doe, by the way, is the very same girl who also went by the pseudonym of Katie Johnson. My name is Suri Crow, and you're watching the Midas Touch Network. I recently spoke with one of Katie Johnson's former attorneys about the case that he filed on her behalf in a New York federal district court, accusing both Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein of criminal sex crimes against minor children. Why New York? Because that's the place the alleged crimes took place when Katie was only 13 years old. Here is part of my conversation with attorney Evan Goldman.
Name that was a pseudonym that we gave her. Instead of Jane Doe, we gave her the name of Katie Johnson. And it was filed in federal court in New York after there had been a previous lawsuit filed in California, not by me, but by another attorney. I don't recall his name. But that case should have never been filed in California because there was no proper jurisdiction in California. But anyway, Lisa was able to communicate with her. And after speaking to her, apparently Katie was going to reveal herself and answer questions from the press. there was a press conference set up for Lisa Bloom's office, and many individuals from the press were there, from the mainstream publications were there. It was set up for some early afternoon on a particular day. Katie woke up that morning, found that her car had been broken into and that her cell phone had been hacked. She then freaked out, told Lisa that she was not going to come to the press conference, and then shortly after that instructed us to withdraw the complaint. She was always concerned about threats from Donald Trump from the time that she was allegedly raped by him when she was 13 or 14 years old. So he, obviously that remained with her, the fact that he had made threats to her back then, saying that if he ever revealed any of this information, that, you know, her family would be harmed, and whether physically or not, and or she would be potentially harmed also.
I've been digging into the Katie Johnson story on and off for the past couple.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Do you want to believe that story? All right. Or do you want to believe this story? Let me pull it up. I think I have it here. Yeah. Do you want to believe this story? Look at the difference between that news report, what's going on there, and what this distraction's about.
And you know, it's a very difficult thing to explain, because, you know, a lot of people wouldn't understand it, but it happened. You know, he turned into something in front of my eyes. And you know, and people question it and say, was I maybe drugged or something? I mean, I don't know. But the thing is, I do know that I've experimented with drugs years later, and I never ever saw anyone turn into anything ever. You know, I obviously don't do drugs, but, you know, from the times when I slipped up and did them as a you know, young person being stupid. But I wasn't doing any drugs there. We weren't allowed to do drugs. We weren't allowed, you know, I mean, I'd never touched drugs. I'd actually never done a drug when I saw that. You know, I'd maybe smoked a joint. Well, I definitely had smoked a joint, but I'd never ever touched any drug by that point in my life. And I think if I'd been drugged, I would have actually been aware of it, because I would have felt weird. You know, another weird thing is I've seen on the one documentary that Juliette Bryant made, I saw myself walking in the background, and it almost creeped me out, because it almost looks like I'm sort of floating. Because it's like, you know, the thing is with hypnosis and cults, what I'm starting to realize is this was more like a sort of culty thing, where he was trying to get hold of people. And I think that's why a lot of people won't come forward, because a lot of people might have been benefiting. It was a sort of, it was a place where you didn't come out feeling normal, you know, to be after being around them. And I can't really explain it, because, you know, I don't have the intelligence or the background, you know, to this. But, you know, there's some very, very clever people out there who understand things like this, that would be able to understand what was going on. But it was just very, very frightening being around them. And I don't think I was drugged. You know, when I saw him shift, I saw that. And I mean, I don't know if I was drugged, but I did see him turn into something.
And that was the picture of Maria Farmer's painting. So, yeah, I don't know. You guys tell me. You want to believe that? You want to believe that, or do you want to believe this? Or maybe you believe both. I think that story is distracting from this story. Big time. Big time. One more time. Let's continue on this one for a second.
Couple of years, trying to get more information, trying to verify stories and the allegations that she made in both lawsuit in California as well as the one in New York. But, the story itself really never gained much traction because she dropped off the radar after that press conference she was supposed to do. And then the press got swept up with the Access Hollywood tapes and, of course, the big Stormy Daniels story. And Donald Trump got into the White House. But Katie Johnson's story is shockingly similar to the stories of how Epstein recruited young girls into his sex trafficking ring. Once again, here is her former attorney, Evan Goldman.
She told her father that she was getting on a bus to go to her grandmother's in Pittsburgh, which she never did.
Wow.
She went to New York instead. Apparently, she went to various modeling agencies, and they said, we can't really do anything unless you give us a portfolio. So when she was waiting at the Port Authority for a bus to return, that's when she was approached by one of these individuals that either Epstein or Epstein hired to lure young women to parties. And the promise to her was that, hey, do you want to go to a party? There'll be very important and wealthy people there. You'll be paid to go to the party, and you'll meet some very important people that could hopefully get you on your way to stardom, so to speak.
And that is how 13-year-old Katie allegedly became prey for not only Jeffrey Epstein, but also Donald Trump, who were both named as defendants in the New York federal lawsuit, which accuses both men of rape, criminal sex acts, assault, battery, false imprisonment, and more. The lawsuit alleges that these crimes took place in the summer of 1994 at a residence in Manhattan where Epstein threw his infamous parties. The suit also alleges that both men, including Donald Trump, knew that the plaintiff, aka Katie Johnson, was only 13 years old. She says they knew that she was only 13. It goes on to say that defendant Trump initiated sexual contact with the plaintiff, that's Katie Johnson, at 4 different parties. And on the 4th and final sexual encounter with defendant Trump, that Trump tied Katie Johnson to a bed, exposed himself to the plaintiff, that's Katie Johnson, and then proceeded to forcibly rape Katie Johnson. During the course of this savage sexual attack, the plaintiff loudly pleaded with defendant Trump to stop, but with no effect. Defendant Trump responded to plaintiff's pleas by violently striking the plaintiff, that's Katie Johnson, in the face with his open hand and screaming that he would do whatever he wanted. Okay, by the way, there are additional details in the California lawsuit, but again, that lawsuit was dismissed on a filing technicality, where Katie Johnson alleges that she was begging him to use protection. He said no and threw money at her and told her to get an effing abortion if that was.
Okay, so I don't know. You tell me. Hi, Ben. Yeah, I've been. I showed videos of Juliette Bryant talking about. Well, you saw that last one. I've showed previous ones about Juliette Bryant. She's been around for a long time, talking about Jeffrey Epstein, and she's a legitimate part of the case. She's a model. She has a certain amount of legitimacy, but the only thing is that she is claiming she's going with a lot of things that, let's say, Lauren Pritchard says, Space Mama, where, like being abducted or, being surgically, at the ranch in New Mexico with hazmat suits and Jeffrey Epstein shapeshifting into a lizard. I really think that doing that is making something very, very serious look like a freaking clown show. That's what I think. That's my opinion. I'm not gonna back down on it either. I'm not. We should be embarrassed of ourselves. Seriously. I mean, that's how I feel about it. That's my opinion. And so here is vote number 3 on the songs Kind of Like. Also, another thing I was doing, Ben, is I made some songs today. And I'm just kind of thinking, I'm just putting it out there like, what is everybody's favorite? And this was... I think this is the one I want to play. Will it? Yeah.
Tangled in the sea, no way to retreat, caught in a lie, and I know why. You think you'll disappear, but have no fear, you're here to stay, and no one believes you today. Fake goat, trying to be a scapegoat, just another snake goat, always on me. Usually right, not forthright. Fake goat, trying to be a scapegoat, just another snake note, always honest. Usually right, not forthright. No one believes you today. Go along your way. Go on along your way. Go along your way. Fake goat, trying to be a scapegoat, just another snake note, always honest. Usually right, not forthright. Fake goat, trying to be a scapegoat, just another snake note, always honest. Usually right, not forthright. No one believes you today. Go along your way. Go along your way. Go along your way.
So that is option number 3. Yeah, that one is more upbeat. There's a variety of different sounds or choices to make on it. So those are the 3 to vote for them. I'm gonna do a little poll on Not My Rabbit Hole, and so yeah. And I'm gonna end here. It's I've almost been going for 2 hours. I am gonna close out on this song that I did do about Katie Johnson. I played it earlier today, and I'll play it again. I think it's pretty clear what my vote is. I'm not buying Miss Bryant, in terms of the reptile alien story with Jeffrey Epstein, and I personally think that it's making this into a clown show. And whether whether you want to believe in that Jeffrey Epstein's a shape-shifting lizard or not, or you want to believe in the mythology of shape-shifting lizards, I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that even if it does exist, it's not doing the credibility of anything that's going on here. And I think it's a distraction of like what a more serious issue that's taking place, that it looks like maybe that's could be the reason why the client list isn't even being allowed for us to even see it. Maybe it is a cover up, right? Anyways, have a great rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in, and for those of you who are in the chat today, and I will see you next time.
I wish that I could know why you decided to show, why you didn't just go, why you still call her Jane Doe. She was 13, not yet 16, not even a tween. Her friends said it would be funny if she met Epstein. He got a gig for the weekend, said she could bring a friend, said he needed someone who looked young, a blonde and a wig. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend, and her friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And her friends thought it was harmless, so she went with a friend. And they said they all met a nice man, and his name was Prince Andrew. And she thought he was harmless, so she went with her friend. And her thought he was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought he was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she met a girl named Katie Johnson, and she looked just like me. And they thought it was harmless, so they went with their friend. And I thought it was harmless, so I went with my friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And her friend's friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And her friend's friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And her friend's friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was